What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with a very happy Guni and also a very happy Younes. Yeah, as he has rightfully said off the camera, this is milestone week for the both of us. I'm going to start off with Younes. He finally received his silver button from YouTube. If you haven't
Yep.
seen that, if you ain't seen that video, please go and check that out. Subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. Like, it was a beautiful thing to see, man. Absolutely amazing because like I said, me and my whole family, we were there from when you started Guni Talks Football and then up until now. So it's just it's amazing to see you get that, man. So a massive congratulations to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it was a big deal. It was I mean, it came quicker than I expected, to be honest. But yeah, when it's in front of you and it's like, oh wow, okay, it's here. Yeah, man, it was quality. I'm happy. But thank you, man. Thank you for yourself and everyone and the support. Obviously, it's been banging.
I mean, yeah, man. Definitely always been one of my favorite content creators. And another piece of information for you guys is that we have finally reached 5,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. That is a big milestone. So I'm very happy about that. It's
very quickly as well, can I say? Very quickly. Well done.
It happened. I'm just greedy. I want more. I want more. But there's it's just come at a great time, 2 days before my birthday. So this is just like the best.
Banging.
Yeah, this is the best birthday present I could have really asked for, man. So big up to everybody that supported the team. Big up to everybody that's here in the chat. I see you lot starting conversations and just getting right into business. So I think it's about that time. And the first subject that we are going to start off with is Christian Pulisic and the comments that he has made while he has been on the US men's national team. Now, I think it's very important to contextualize this properly. So this time I actually watched the video, the pre-match conference. It was like a preview for the El Salvador game. And I actually listened and wrote down his answers so it cannot be misconstrued. So the first question pertaining to Chelsea, because there were many other questions that were linked to the national team, but I'm going to stick to the ones that were Chelsea related. The first question was this: the way you've been used in the past 4 to 6 weeks playing both centre forward and right wing back, what are the challenges for you shifting to those positions and what did you learn from those positions? Christian responded, yeah, it's tough. I haven't always played in the position I want to play in, but it's a good quality to be versatile and to be able to play in different positions and have different strengths on the pitch. I've learned a lot and I'm ready to hopefully be in a spot, hopefully in the next couple of games I'm more comfortable in. That's the first question that we should address, Younes. So from there, I've been waffling a little bit. I'm going to just let you come up with your thoughts from that answer.
It's mad because context is key, isn't it? Context is key. Like the way it was spun this morning. Well, and we've got more quotes to go through, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
No, I've not got a problem with that at all. In terms of what he said, it makes complete sense. And hopefully that has made him a more versatile player in a similar way like Hudson-Odoi defensively has improved. Remember the way that Hudson-Odoi used to struggle in terms of defending, and then after playing as a wing back for a substantial amount of time, he's improved in that aspect whilst also keeping what he can do going forward. So yeah, hopefully it adds to Pulisic's game.
Yep. So yeah, that's what I mean. So from that answer, it's a well-rounded, and I think he answered it pretty well because he didn't lie about anything. He kept it authentic. We know that this guy has been used in several positions, and any player is not going to be comfortable. That's outside most players' comfort zones. So of course, that's regular. So there's not really anything from that answer that I can take to say, okay, he's definitely not happy and he wants to leave the club. So there's that answer. That's the full answer that he gave, not what we've been seeing reported on social media and so and so. The next question is, at Chelsea, you've played a few different positions. How do you feel about your current role at the club and how are you approaching your future? And does bouncing around and not starting as much as you'd like, how does it affect you coming into the USA games? Pulisic responded, it doesn't affect me too much coming into US games. I'm ready whenever I come in here. I do what I can to help this team, so I'm not thinking about that. Obviously, it's been up and down for sure. Not exactly where I want to be and how I want things to be right now, but I'm just going to keep on going. Like I said, it's not going to affect me while I'm here, so I'm excited to be here. That's the second question he was asked. There's one more question after that. Now, with that answer there, Younes, if you read too much into it, you might think, well, he's indicating that a bit of unhappiness there. But again, do you feel that answer is more in context with what's going on in general, or is he directly speaking about his unhappiness at the club?
It's hard to say, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's hard to say. It's hard to read. You can try and read it, but you can try and read between the lines, but it's hard to say. It's a quite vague answer. Again, which is probably best to the press and to the media. You don't want to say too much, but it's hard to read. It can be taken either one of two ways. Either, it's just the answer he's given to the press, and it's as simple as that. Or, yeah, he's signaling he's unhappy, but you can never be sure. You can never be sure.
No, absolutely. And again, I'm emphasizing the reason why I've approached it this way is because we have to be very careful and make sure things are read in context. I mean, we had the Lukaku situation. Luckily, we were able to look at the full report beforehand, and we came to the conclusion that he was stupid for opening his mouth, and we're just going to leave it as that. But this is a situation of how things like this, in my opinion, could be handled a bit more professionally. You see what I'm saying? The way Christian Pulisic, whether he's unhappy or not, the way he has handled these questions, I feel have been professional, and I'm not really taking too much from it. And then the final question is this, is when asked how he deals. So yeah, when he was asked, all right, why did I write this thing? So he was asked about how he's how dealing with Chelsea questions during national team duty made him feel, and he responded like it was a bit of a weird answer. He said, there's two parts. Obviously, there's the personal level and there's the football side. So he said on a personal level, he's good. Mentally, he's in a good space. On his football side, he responded, and with this bit, I paraphrased it because it was a long-winded answer. So this isn't word for word. But basically what he said was, it's tough. It's definitely played a lot on me mentally. It's been difficult at times, but I'm always excited to play with the national team, to step away and get back to enjoying playing with these guys and back to enjoying football overall. Those are the three main questions that he was asked to do with Chelsea. The rest of them were to do with the national team. But that final answer there, I feel, can definitely be open for interpretation.
It can, isn't it? It can.
Yeah.
That, oh man. that as well as adding on to the second answer and the way that it could either go one or two ways. When you look at the third answer, that's a bit. It gives the indication like, okay, he's now at the US national team. All right, he's enjoying himself again. But the time he walks back into Chelsea, all right, it's all doom and gloom. Yeah, I don't know. Again, are we reading too much into it? Maybe. But I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those ones. But what we need to do, and I think what we've done pretty well, is that we've taken the wholeness of the interview and we've actually explored the answers instead of just soundbiting and clicking just certain bits to make it look a certain narrative. You see what I'm saying? So these are his actual words, and from that last answer, right? When you look at like the scenario around Pulisic. Again, like I said, been used at right wing back, being used at not even centre forward. It was false nine, really, if we're being honest. Used as a false nine and sporadically used in his favoured position. Again, I'm not going to knock him for that. And I feel like
really quickly about that. You also have to understand why he was in that position. Because we didn't have a choice. This wasn't a thing like, we voluntarily put Pulisic as a striker. Thomas Tuchel voluntarily chose to put him at wing-back. We had Lukaku, Werner out. Havertz out. Had to play up there. We had Reece James, Chilwell out. You're the only one there with Hudson-Odoi that has in the past done it. You have to play there. So it's a case of you're at our disposal. You're our only option. Sorry. But got to happen. And I think as a professional, you get that, surely.
Yeah, and then when you link it to what he actually says about the national team, because the bit that was there for me that was a bit open to interpretation was get back to enjoying football overall.
Yeah.
So with when you look at it in context with the US men's national team, he is the star guy. Let's have it right. The only one there with the Champions League. You get me?
He's the man.
He's the main dude. So they're not going to use him out of position. So of course he's going to enjoy playing there because he's playing his natural position. He's been given that sort of responsibility as
it's all based around him, really.
Yeah, exactly. We call him Captain America for a reason. You see what I'm saying? Because he's literally that guy. So it's understandable. He's going to a country where he is like, I'm here in America. And the way he's spoken about in New York City, one of 50 states, he's very well liked. So of course you can see as to why he's always going to enjoy coming back to his national team. He's just that guy over here. At Chelsea, it might be because listen, let's look at it on the flip side. It might be the case where he has ambition to prove everybody wrong, and where he wants to do that is in his favorite position as well. It might be a shout to Thomas Tuchel saying, listen, I understand that I'm being used at a position for a very good reason, but I feel like I can contribute more and we can perhaps win games or get more from games where we haven't if I was used in my natural position consistently, which I feel would be a fair sort of argument. But it's like we were saying, Younes, man, there's nothing there. Like the way the press have made it out, there's nothing there for him to actually say like, yo, I want to leave the club.
No, nothing like that. No. And if that's what's being spun, obviously, and look, this is why you've got to be careful. This is why with Lukaku we were so flipping annoyed, because even in this context where Pulisic hasn't really said much, right? You can already see the press trying to mold a story. Yeah. And this is with basically hardly anything in terms of a soundbite. You give them an actual soundbite, you're finished. You're actually done. And this is why you got to be careful, man. They are hounds.
Yeah, you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Literally,
it's a fact.
But also with the position thing, I think there's two sides to it. I think the first thing, which I've already clarified, is that Pulisic was in a situation where he was pretty much our only option to play where he was playing, right? So I hope he gets that, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of playing in his natural position, if he were to be put in his natural position at the time when we had those players missing, who would have compensated? No one. That we didn't have the personnel to compensate. This was the point. But also, when he is put in his natural position, he's got to prove that he's up to it now, man. Because the only time in a Chelsea shirt we've seen Pulisic really bang in his natural position as a left wing forward or as a left forward or as a left winger, was Project Restart. That is in 3 years, those few months were the only time where we've seen Pulisic look immense. Apart from that, he's been really inconsistent and injury prone. So it's up to him now. If he doesn't get injured, it's up to him.
Yeah, there's a lot of responsibility he's got to take. Let me just read out this super chat real quick. Could Inter have told Lukaku if he goes to Chelsea and they don't like him, then Inter can buy him back at less money? Since this is
that was the plan.
Yeah, since this is a different topic, I'm just really going to skip over this real quick. I don't think so. The finances wouldn't make sense for that to happen. Inter wouldn't be able to afford to put that kind of outlay on. And then you also have to remember that Chelsea are definitely going to ask for more than what they bought him for. You know, because it's going to be an expensive contract to buy out. He's still got 5 years left on a 350k contract with the reputation he's got. Inter cannot afford to do that. I don't see any club in Syria that can be able to afford that. But going forward in the summer, I'm not gonna lie to you, Younes, bruv. I still have a massive question mark over Pulisic's future in the summer, bro. I just, although like he's handled it the way he's handled it, I just have a feeling that there's a possibility that we might see him go, because this isn't the first time news like similar to this has come out. There was obviously the thing with his dad as well. I honestly don't know. And we know we have to make something work in the attack. And with Pulisic's injury proneness as well, if we do get a 58, 59 million, 60 million kind of bid, which is what's being thrown around from what I've read, what Marina wants for Pulisic anyway, then I don't think it would be bad business to sell. But then it comes down to, again, as long as who we're replacing him with is a definite improvement and is not injury prone. See what I mean? But for Pulisic, I get his frustrations, but if he leaves in the summer, I'd be slightly disappointed, to tell you the truth, because I definitely agree that Pulisic has way more to offer than what he has shown. But then it also comes down to him as a player. It's like you said, if he's going to take that opportunity at left wing, he's got to take it with both hands and he's got to run with it like he did during Project Restart. But how would you feel if Chelsea did get rid of Pulisic in the summer?
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. Firstly, it would depend on who we replace him with. That's key. It has to be an upgrade. We can't be just letting players go for fun. For that sort of money as well, because I know he's only got 2 years left on his contract.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing. With only 2 years, you don't want to get to the final year where things start getting a little shaky, like we've seen with defenders. And then the price tag can go lower. So if a club were to come in and offer 60 million, because he's valued at now 58, which is apparently what the club have put on in terms of a price tag, you'd accept that, wouldn't you? Because you're not going to get anything higher than that. Unless if, a club's willing to do that or you're willing to negotiate something, then cool. But if it comes to the summer, it would need to be an upgrade. We would need to be able to replace. In terms of him leaving, I feel like there's so much potential, but at the moment, it's only looking like potential. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like there are some players that go to clubs and the expectation is for them to succeed, and it doesn't quite work, but then they go somewhere else and then it does work. And I just feel like sometimes that's just the environment. Sometimes it's just not meant to happen. There are players in certain environments, at certain clubs, under certain systems, around certain teammates. There are so many factors that can contribute to the way that you play. An example was Mo Salah at Chelsea compared to Mo Salah at Liverpool. It's the same league.
Yes.
It's the same opponents. But two complete different players. One looked average, one looks world class. But again, different manager, different environment, different circumstances, different teammates, different system. Everything contributes. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pulisic was to go somewhere else and turn into an absolute machine. I wouldn't be surprised. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to happen at Chelsea. Although I think the potential's there. I'll be honest, I'd happily keep him. If a club were to come in for about 60 million or whatnot, then I reckon Chelsea would sell, and then they'd use that money to try and get a decent replacement in, or try and do it the other way around, of course.
Well, I think on Christian Pulisic, I think we'll wrap that up, and we're going to move on to a transfer target that Chelsea are looking at. And to be honest with you, I'm not really too surprised, because Niklas Sule has come up before in previous transfer windows.
Yep.
And it looks like that this time it could be a serious offer being made to him, because of the fact that he will be a free agent in the summer. And we know that Chelsea have been looking at free agents. Ousmane Dembele, who we've already spoken about, being another free agent in the summer. Süle being another free agent in the summer. And Chelsea have been long-term admirers of him. And apparently Christian Pulisic, Thomas Tuchel is a admirer of Niklas Sule. Now, the question is, do we need him? Well, the way things appear, Christensen, it's not looking likely as of now. He'll be signing a new contract with Chelsea. The Rudiger situation, although more positive news has come out over the past few weeks, he still hasn't signed his contract. And there's also the situation with Azpilicueta, whether he's going to be offered a new contract or not. And we already know we've been linked with Koundé, who is one out of three, one centre back, and there's still there's two other defenders that we need to replace. So Süle is earmarked as being one of them. How do you feel about this, Younes, about him coming to Chelsea?
Süle's a weird one, because on paper you look at it and you think, wow. But then you watch him play and you think, huh? I don't know. He's already been nicknamed the German Maguire. That tells you everything you need to know in it. That's mad. You don't want to go anywhere near that. A German fridge. No, I know the Germans are very efficient with manufacturing, but I don't want a German fridge in my back line, I'm afraid. So, no, you know what, Niklas Sule? I get 26 years old, decent CV, Bayern Munich, not one of their main centre-backs, obviously, but for free. And I think this is why Chelsea are entertaining it. this is what I've spoken about with some of the other guys. Chelsea recorded I think it's £145 million loss in terms of our last financial year. So obviously now money is a factor. Instead of just turning to Roman every single time and going, please, can we have some more, please? That's not going to happen. So in terms of the Rudiger situation, we still don't know what's happening, but it's starting to look like he might actually stay. But on the flip side, the complete opposite is going to happen now. So Christensen and Azpi, who we thought were staying, are looking like they're going to be bouncing. If they do, we need to get men in. I think Chelsea, from a financial perspective, are probably looking at Süle because he's a free agent. And as a free agent, you can't really go wrong because there is, age there, decent experience, German. Again, if he's admired by Thomas Tuchel, great. But is he good enough? I hope. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced in terms of his level.
I'm not either, to be completely honest with you. I can't say I watch enough Bundesliga to know the kind of form he's been in. I have seen him, although saying that, I have seen him perform very well for Bayern Munich. My concern again is we're going for a player who's had another serious injury, and I understand that.
Injury, innit?
Yeah, he's had several injuries, so he hasn't really had the best time. But this is my thing: is like, when are we going to learn? Do you know what I mean? I know there's obviously a chance that his injury proneness is behind him, and this might be why Chelsea are going in for him and might give him that trust. But it's just like, why are we just going to keep going for these injury-prone players? We've got Pulisic already, who's injury-prone. We're going to go for Ousmane Dembele, who is injury-prone. Niklas Sule, again.
A&EFC, brother. A&EFC, man. We should go and get Andy Carroll at this rate. Screw it.
No, yeah, there's the ambulance to go and pick him up from.
There we are, perfect.
Yeah, picking him up from Munich right now. But nah, man, it's a situation where, look, he could come and he could be a good player, because look, on the flip side, Tuchel was taken Rudiger, who, and in his case as well, he had a double knee ligament injury. Let's not forget. When he came from Roma, and he revived his career from that. Now, obviously, not everybody's in that camp. Obviously, Rudiger, you can see, like, he's got mental toughness of a bull. He's a tough, strong guy. So it doesn't surprise me that he bounced back from that. If Süle is of that same mentality, then and Tuchel is looking forward to working with him, this could end up being a masterstroke signing. I mean, how many eyebrows were raised when we was about to sign Thiago Silva? Me personally, I was happy. I was ecstatic at the fact we was going to sign him. But at the same time, in our fan base, there was quite a few people. We're signing a 35-year-old. He's past it. He's coming to the Premier League and all this and that. So we have to also look at two sides of the coin. But if he does come into Chelsea and, let's say, he doesn't suffer from too many injuries, what do you reckon he has? What qualities does he have that adds to this defense?
Good thing is his stature, because he's a lump and a big one at that. So his stature, he's also 26. So there is time. He's not, in his prime just yet. And he's already, fully fledged German international, Bayern Munich, been around some top players. All of that helps. And again, if Tuchel likes him, then great. But again, he needs to up it. He needs to perform, and he needs to adapt to the Premier League. That needs to be something that he needs to adapt to. I mean, obviously, we've seen it with Rudiger and all them lot. In defense, it's not as hard as it is with other positions on the pitch. So, yeah, hopefully he's just got the right mentality if he were to come. So we'll see.
Do you know who he reminds me of? Not in particular play style, but remember Robert Huth? The absolute shit house that he was. He was a big guy as well.
Good old Huth.
Yeah, I don't know why he reminds me of him. He just does. But if we could get some performances out of him, then boy, obviously it's a win-win. Obviously, coming from Bayern Munich, big reputation of a club, and actually quite a few Bayern fans don't really want to see the back of Süle, which is, in my opinion, a positive thing. But Süle coming in, Ousmane Dembele coming in, still not enough. I still definitely want us to be relentlessly going for the wing backs and going for Tchouaméni. I feel those three are non-negotiables. I want to see those three areas addressed before anywhere else, in my opinion.
Yeah, completely. And I gotta say, like with Dembele, I'm not convinced, man. I'm really not. I'm worried. If Dembele walks through the door, I'd be worried, especially with his injuries and how much he'd be earning. Because if that's gonna disturb the dressing room even more, oh my god, yeah, that's just my personal theory on it. But what I lost my track of thought. What was you saying before that?
I can't even remember. Hey, age. Yeah, no, we were talking about Dembele. That's it. We were talking about Dembele coming through the door, and just being disappointed with him coming in. But yeah, no, it's just we're taking too many risks here, bro. We're taking massive risk. We're throwing a lot of money on gambles that are like 50 to 1, 60 to 1 and that. But go on.
I remember now. So you were saying like too many, the wing backs, like yes, that's priority. That's priority. Now, obviously, with our attackers, I feel like that can be left to the summer. In the summer, I feel like we're going to need some sort of overhaul in terms of our front line. So we can deal with that. But Tchouaméni, who's been linked with Real Madrid, we got to try and snap him up. The wing backs or the full backs, whatever you want to call them, depending on how we're going to move forward. If there's any that can play both. I'm hearing Inter trying to go after Gersons.
Well, apparently it's happened. They've loaned him. They've loaned him with the mandatory buy at the end of it. So there goes that dream. And what have we been doing? Sleeping, and I think it's for like 30 million euros or something pathetic like that. You see what I'm saying?
What are we doing, man? What are we doing
in January as well? Because me personally, we were saying before, like, we don't think Atalanta are going to let him go in January.
We did, yeah. For what, 30? Oh my god!
It's around that figure, 30 million euros, I believe, something like that. It's a bargain either way, man. And then you've got Newcastle doing their thing. The Guimarães thing, although it was reported prematurely, apparently that's looking a bit more likely now. How are we just not getting our finger out of our ass?
This is the thing. Oh, bro, mate. This is the thing. We don't even know who to point the finger at now. Like, is it the scouts that aren't doing their job? Is it Marina that's not bothered because of money? It's the
scouts. You got to point at the scouts, bro, because if they're not picking up these bargains here, then that's where the questions have got to start. Because we have to remember, because sometimes we lump so much responsibility on Marina that it's not even her responsibility. It's not her job to find players. It's her job to negotiate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So she can only deal with what's brought to her on the table. And who brings her that information on the table? The head scout, Scott McLachlan and them man there. Ross Turnbull and them boys there. That's why they're missing this. And then watch this. This is what's going to piss me off. You see Gersons, if he goes on to blossom in Inter, guarantee you in 2 seasons, Chelsea will be in for a talk. 80 million. For this
they will be. Mate, it honestly looks like we make such poor financial decisions now. It's ridiculous. Just in terms of buying and selling. It's we let go of players from the club who end up succeeding and then upping their value, and then we'll try and buy them back and lose money that way, or we let go of an opportunity like this to get someone cheap where they'll end up playing well, upping their value, and then we go for them later on anyway. It's like, what? Honestly, yeah, I'm gutted at that Gersons one, I have to say.
Yep, and he had the perfect profile as well. He could play on either flank. He would have been able to, contribute something from now. Definitely would have made us stronger in our cup competitions as well. Boy, like we missed out on that one, in my opinion. I'm disappointed, but I'm sure. But at the same time, we're saying this, I'm sure Chelsea are aware of most of these players that we talk about. Honestly, most of them know about these players. They're Chelsea Football Club, for Christ's sake. If they don't know, then there's a huge problem. Yeah. In terms of attack, it's looking like Southampton are coming in for one more of our common players, and that is Tino Angerin. He was on loan at Zenit St. Petersburg, wasn't he? And then the loan got terminated because Rangnick left there, and he just didn't feel like he wanted to be part of the project no more. So Southampton are coming in. They're trying to loan him and make that a permanent move. With that, position there. I think Angelin's a good player and he's got potential to go far. But I feel like we can afford to get rid of him if a good price does come in. So if Southampton do say, yeah, we'll loan him with the mandatory buy of 30 million or whatever, I reckon that's good business in my opinion. Because in terms of that position, I think we've got adequately covered. You know what I mean? Because he's mainly a cam. Mason Mount, we saw him against Tottenham. He put a fantastic performance there. That's his natural position. Kai Havertz can even play there as well, believe it or not. He can play there pretty well. So I think for that position, we're quite covered. So Angerin going really isn't too bad business. But the ones that cannot leave, Gallagher and Broja. The situation with Broja though is come out recently that Broja has actually wants to try and make the grade at Chelsea Football Club. So he does actually have ambition to try and make it at the club. So the chances of him actually staying in Southampton, they look a lot slimmer. And I'm very much happy about that because having him as an option, even ahead of Lukaku, I'm not going to lie to you, even
of course,
just trusting him ahead of Lukaku,
100%.
Do you feel he's got what it takes to make it at the club though?
I feel like right now all the signs are pointing in the right direction. Obviously, you can't be 100% sure, but right now, in terms of what I'd expect from Broja, he's delivering. So yeah, bring him. You know, and even in terms of the way that he plays, he's outscoring all of our attackers right now in the Premier League, and he's on loan from us. You know, and he's outperforming every single one of them. So that on top of the way that he plays, his size, his physicality, his speed. I mean, he looks like he runs at 100 miles an hour with like a 6'7" frame. It's mad the way that he does that. So I'm impressed. Plus, I think that he'll complement Thomas Tuchel's style of football a lot more than, definitely a lot more than Lukaku. I feel like Werner can complements it well, but just doesn't finish. I feel like Broja finishes. So, yeah, in terms of being able to go long term with someone who's got that Premier League experience, who's delivering already, yeah, man, bring him in. And if he's got the right people behind him, and again, Gallagher hopefully coming in with him, we might be okay going into next season with players that are already on our books. So, I would.
Well, I will say on that, he's definitely got. He's rounded enough to do several different roles as a striker.
Well-rounded,
and that's something that we desperately need. Whereas Lukaku's just that one-dimension guy because he's stifled by his lack of technicals. And
even Timo, if we look at it, he's one-dimensional in terms of if you play him against a low block, he's finished.
But Timo, I see another one being a candidate to be leaving that attack as well, because apparently Bayern Munich are seriously interested in him. Borussia Dortmund is seriously interested in him. We know Erling Haaland is going to be leaving there this summer, and they're looking for a replacement. I think Daniel Marlon is going to be the main one, but having Timo Werner there with his previous Bundesliga experience, I think he'll do well back in Germany, to be honest with you. Just the nature of that football. He's playing against higher defensive lines, where a lot more space in front of him to play into. I just saw this comment. Don't think we're getting Tchouaméni anymore. He's not choosing us over Madrid. Well, why I find that hard to believe is that Real Madrid just signed Camavinga in the summer. So
I mean, at the end of the day, it is Real Madrid, isn't it? They'll literally just buy anything that's trending.
It is Real Madrid, but is Tchouaméni really going to go there where he knows he can?
It's hard to say no. I have to say, it is hard to say no, especially for him. It's Real Madrid, isn't it? And Real Madrid right now in Spain are killing it. So yeah, well, not killing it in terms of pure domination, but they look like they're going to win La Liga. They look like they are in contention for the cups and whatnot. So in Spain, they are the dominant side. The only thing that can swerve him is if he wants a Premier League challenge. That's the only thing. And if he does, we have a shot.
Yeah, that's it. But just one or two more questions I'm going to take before we wrap this up. One that's a bit left field, actually. Jeremy Doku. This is actually good. Do you remember the young Belgian at the Euros, how he was lighting it up with his pace? You remember Jeremy Doku? Everyone was talking about him. Yeah, everyone was talking about him like he was going to get a big move after the Euros. I mean, he had a good little cameo in the Euros, to be honest with you.
The
thing is I don't think Chelsea have been linked with him. And he's definitely a name in the future that we've got to look out on, because we've got to remember as well, Doku is also very, very young. So big teams definitely know about him. They saw what he done at the Euros, but they're probably just leaving him
19.
to develop where he is.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's 19. He's still got a lot to learn. So they're probably just leaving him where he is for now. But definitely that's a move we should keep an eye on later on. My hunch, though, is that I can see him ending up at a Liverpool, to be honest with you. I can see him ending up there. I don't know why. I think he'd fit in there. And that's at the fact that Sadio Mane is in his 30s and his form is kind of been a bit up and downish. It might be that time for Liverpool to be looking, but definitely one to keep an eye on. Thank you very much for this super chat. You got love Younes, up the Chelsea. Come on. Both statements we agree with on this channel. Big up yourself, Younes, and up the Chelsea always. Camavinga is a box-to-box. Tchouaméni is a CDM. They can play together. That's also true. Tchouaméni is actually very versatile. He's not just a CDM. He can play number 6. He can play the number 8 as well. He can also play the number 10 if you ask him to. That's why I do not... And he does each role at a very high level. That's why I do not want to see Chelsea slip up on this. This guy could solve a lot of issues that we've had in our midfield. For example, the previous game against Tottenham, yes, we had a fantastic game, but there were times where we was getting bypassed a lot in that midfield. The ball was just going through way too easy. And how many times has that been the story of our season? He's somebody that can screen our defense and do that. But Younes, before we go, just talk to me about Tchouaméni a little bit. We had the opportunity to actually sign him last summer for 25 million. But the rumors were going around that Fabregas wanted to keep him there because he's coaching him and sort of mentoring him in the role before he's ready to come to Chelsea. Now, obviously, the story's changed. Monaco are looking for at least 50 million for him. Other clubs are interested to sign him. Chelsea's still in pole position. But what do you think of this signing?
Well, I think we should get him, man. I really think we should get him. Again, that's just the way that I see it. But in terms of our midfield and our options right now, Kante, Jorginho, William Gallas.
Hey, to those that don't know why I'm putting up William Gallas in here, big up expressions. That's what he calls me. That's his name for me. He calls me William Gallas, the bald black maniac.
Oh my God.
That's the name.
Gallas.
Yeah, so big up Stacks, though. One of the man them out here with New York City, man. Everton fan. You've seen him on Barstool Sports as well with Troops on Back Again. He's quality. So definitely look out for Elo Stacks. He's gonna be on the channel as well. You've done it already. But sorry, Younes, what was you saying before?
No, that was worth interrupting for, bro. But Tchouaméni, especially with our situation now going forward, Kante, Jorginho, as good as our midfield is, I feel like, and we all know there are things that are missing, you know, and against some opponents that midfield sorts us out, but against some it just doesn't. I feel like Tchouaméni is versatile enough to be able to come in and sort the problems that we have. Now, going forward in terms of age, we got to start thinking, as I said, about Kante and his situation. Is Jorginho is Jorginho a long-term option for us, or is he going to go back to Napoli or something? Because I think the day will come he goes back to Italy. So there's the whole debate of Declan Rice or Tchouaméni. At this rate, why not both? Now, obviously, Rice, in terms of money, is the only factor and the only issue that we have. We might not pay it. Yep. But Tchouaméni is affordable, can play it all. The only thing that you worry with Tchouaméni is being able to hack the Premier League. But so far, with all these physical attributes that he shows, I feel like he can. So, yeah, I'd bring him easily. And I think if we let that slip, then, oh man, we're done out. We're done out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's one that could stay in that midfield for about 10 or so years to come. He'll only get
easily
better and better. Thank you for the super chat, guys. I will miss Pulisic. He bleeds blue. If he goes to Liverpool, that would be brutal. I think we were talking about. Nah, he doesn't go Liverpool. No. The player we were talking about actually was Jeremy Doku. That was my personal opinion. There's been no report saying that he's going to Liverpool. That's just my feeling. That's where he goes. Is Tchouaméni better than Declan Rice? Now, it's a good question. It's a good question. Obviously, if you watch League on a weekly basis as well as watching the Premier League on a weekly basis, that answer is probably for you guys to answer more. I don't like to lie and be a hypocrite and say, oh yeah, definitely, when there are people that actually watch League on a hell of a lot more than I do. You get me? I watch the Prem week in, week out. I catch games here and there, but from what I see of Tchouaméni, the boy looks like he could be a generational talent. I ain't gonna lie to you. And back to what you were saying, Younes, why not both? And I actually do think that is Chelsea's aim. I think obviously this summer Tchouaméni is going to be the one. Declan Rice at the minute, his price value is still going to be sky high.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Asking north of 100 mil easy for him. Do you know what I mean? So I think that one in the future will come back as a stopgap, and he's not even a stopgap signing. To have Tchouaméni as an option is way more than good enough, in my opinion, man. Definitely. I think he'll be an amazing addition. I would love to see Declan Rice. If we have the midfield option of Declan Rice, Tchouaméni, Kante, whether he stays, that's going to be an interesting one. Kante, whether he stays, Kovacic and Gallagher. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Now, that's the process that I'm going to be like, yeah, let's get excited about that little core there. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Gallagher as well, you know, in terms of how we use him, because he can play in at 6'6", but he can also play as an 8. He can move advanced. He can go up and play as an attacking mid if you really want him to. It's going to be interesting because, you know, all these names that we're linked with and Gallagher coming back, the only way to incorporate all of those is to get rid of what we have now. Yeah. And that means that some sacrifices will have to be made, some big ones will have to be made, and it won't be easy.
And I know we've gone on a bit more than time, but like I wanted to go back to that, what you said about Jorginho there. I mean, if we look at the age that he's at, the season that he's had as well, and the fact that he has plenty of suitors in Italy that would take him like this,
yeah,
he may be the one first team regular, I think, out of the rest that will be sold, because I don't see Kovacic being sold. Absolutely not. To me, he's a key player that needs to stay where he is. Kante, the situation with him, I want him to retire at the club. I love Kante. He is one of my favorite players, bruv. I want him to retire at the club, but whether he will is a different question. Because again, if there's 100 mil bid from a PSG or someone like that, I don't see Chelsea saying no to him. Absolutely not, because he's still, let's have it right, he is still an elite midfielder. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We got to remember, with Kante, he didn't arrive yesterday. Like, we've managed to get quite a lot out of Kante, you know, and it's only normal that the day will come where either he's not hitting that level anymore, or like the case that we're seeing. My only issue is the amount of injuries we've seen him pick up. And if that subsides, cool, then he can still operate at the highest level. But if not, then it's a little bit of a question mark. But now he's 30. You're going to start seeing that decline. The next 2 or 3 years is where we are going to have to start thinking about replacing. But he arrived 5 years ago? Just over 5 years ago, won the Prem with us since Conte. So he's been here for a while, and I feel like we've managed to do good things together. So, the key is to start looking at, you know, who's going to come in, obviously.
Big up Exeter 1985. Absolutely love both of your channels. Keep up the good work. Younes, please don't drop this silver play button. I think he speaks for everybody in this room and myself when he says that.
Definitely won't. That's going up on the wall ASAP.
Jack Zeldin says, I'd say Rice is better right now, but Tchouaméni has a crazy high upside. That's going to be a debate for a lot of time to come. I can see them two being compared a lot in their careers because they seem to be the two most talked about that have that kind of role. And obviously both of them being linked with Chelsea is also a thing, man.
Those two, I feel like Tchouaméni has what Rice needs and Rice has what Tchouaméni needs.
Yes, exactly. They'd complement themselves.
Yeah, I feel like Rice has the experience in the Prem, the physicality to be able to succeed in the Premier League that Tchouaméni needs. And I feel like Tchouaméni has that passing ability, that quick transition, that being able to close in to pass in tight spaces and just, you know, do everything that a midfielder needs to do. I feel like in terms of suiting Thomas Tuchel's way of playing, Tchouaméni has that Rice, I'm not sure has, although he might. but he hasn't been able to show it because he plays for Moyes at West Ham.
Yeah.
So can he move the ball quickly and move into those positions quickly? Because that's what you're going to need at Chelsea. Maybe he already can. He just doesn't need to at West Ham. But too many can. So yeah, they have what they need.
Jolani Dam says Kovacic ain't all that. I don't know how I can help you if that's your general opinion.
I prefer not to speak.
Yeah.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
people talk like he puts a lot of goals and assists. It doesn't matter. That's not what football is all about. Like, there's way more to football than goals and assists that create championship winning players and so on and so forth. Remember, this is a man that came from a Real Madrid team that won how many Champions Leagues? That stepped into Chelsea after everyone called him a reject, and won what when he came to the club? Put respect on this brother's name. And arguably, sorry, Younes, I don't mean to.
No, it's fine. Go for it.
Arguably, when he has been on the pitch this season, on his runs, he has been the best midfielder performing. I'm not trying to hear that. But go on, Younes.
I agree, man. I think Kovacic starts alongside Jorginho, or alongside Kante as a double six. That's not where your goals and assists are meant to come from. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because if not, where's Kante's goal and assists?
That's what I mean.
We know Kante's an absolute world-class player.
Exactly.
You don't expect him to get goals and assists, though. Jorginho only gets goals because he's a penalty taker. Where's his goals and assists? Sometimes he might get
open play
here and there.
Exactly.
But just like Kovacic, sometimes here and there gets a goal or an assist. That's normal. They're all compatible with the way that they play. That's not their job. It's the guys up top. It's the guys ahead of them who has the job to be able to get assists and goals on a regular basis. Kovacic contributes, like we see against Liverpool. Jorginho contributes, sometimes being able to send that ball over the top with that one through ball or a penalty whenever it's taken. And Kante contributes when he's able to dribble past and take the ball with him on one of those mad runs from time to time, or those quick link-ups that he gets involved in. Kovacic, we know, likes to go forward. He likes to dribble. He gets past men. He contributes in actions. He scores bangers from time to time. What more do you want, man? What more do you want?
Exactly. And then you just see, like, you can't. How many midfielders are out there that are as press resistant as him? How many times have we seen this guy? Around, like three players that are surrounding around him, and he's through, and he's just breaking the lines and he's creating something. Come on, don't slander Pulisic. I mean, Kovacic on this channel. Don't. That man is bruv. He is that guy. But on that note, Younes, thank you so much for joining me today. Once again, congratulations on that silver button. One day, I will be able to join you in the silver button club, but by then you'll be in a diamond club, way further away from where we are.
Not 10 mil, not 10 mil.
Hey, what do you mean not 10 mil? Get out of it. Hey, Younes, bruv, you're going further than 10 mil. Get out of it. Stop being humble, bruv. Do you know what I mean? It's all right to big up your chest once in a while. Younes, you're going to the sky, bruv. Do you know what I mean? And to everybody in the chat, hey, big up yourselves as always. Love every single one of you. And if it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't have 5K subscribers today. Big milestone, and that is down to all of you lot sharing. Younes as well, thank you so much for your contribution, helping this channel get their eyes on them. Matisse, Troops, Zar, everybody that I've worked with, even the man them in the group chat, Man Knows Football group chat, Apple, Roma, T-Dot, all of them, man, everyone that supported the team. Now we're on to 10K. Now that I've said that, 5K is done, we're moving on to 10K. Let's get these numbers, man. But before we leave, make sure you do like, share, subscribe. Leave your thoughts down there. As always, we love interacting with you guys. Younes's details are down there. Make sure you follow him on all of his socials as well. If you're not subscribed to him on YouTube, then you are buzzing. You must have been subscribed to Younes. Come on. If you ain't, make sure you subscribe to the brother. Younes, what have you got coming up later on today?
So later on, I think it's just going to be news. Obviously, with no football for 2 weeks, it's going to be looking at what the latest is, not just for Chelsea, but for all football and all other clubs, and anything major happens, I'll give my view on it. As well as that, I'm looking in the 2 weeks to try and get some collabs done as well, and try and get as many people from our scene on, because it's been a little while. And then also the AFCON coverage. So obviously, we've got 3 days off for that, or 2 days off now for the quarterfinals. So when that starts up again, AFCON updates as usual. So yeah, that's basically it. And my second channel on Twitch, obviously, I'm doing what I'm doing there.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Like I said, all of the details down there in the description. Thank you very much for joining us. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time it is in the world, please make sure you do stay safe in these perilous times. You get me? So, on that note, we're going to let you go.